Certainly a big day for our veterans here in our nation, too, and a big day for us. We're waking up to record temperatures this morning. Every number broken there behind you. Everything's in the red.
Yeah,
Unbelievable morning.
I walked over here and I said, I just updated this graphic. All the numbers are officially in red.
St. Pete was like the holdout, right?
Yeah, St. Pete was
broke a record,
the only one left. And now if you see a red number, that means you officially tied or broke a record for a low temperature this morning. Very cold out there. That's the reason for our weather impact. Got to let people know you have to be prepared. This is clearly something that we don't see very often if we're breaking records like this. Let's talk about those numbers. Brooksville, 35 degrees, breaking the record of 37 set back in 1977. A lot of us dropping into the 30s or low 40s, breaking decades-old records. The most impressive one, though, by and large, is Tampa. The record 40 degrees set back in 1892. We officially dropped to 39. That's an over 130-year-old record broken this morning at TPA. So clearly, you got to bundle up this morning if you're heading out to work. I know some of the kiddos still have school this morning. If you're heading to any of the Veterans Day events, just something to keep in mind. This isn't normal for us, clearly. You got to be prepared. 37 in Odessa, 38 in West Chase, 38 in Safety Harbor, 39 in Clearwater Beach, 37 in Dunedin, 35 in Port Richey, 36 in Land O'Lakes and in Plant City, 35 in Winter Haven and in Brooksville, 35 in Dade City as well. Of course, the wind is making it all the more colder out there. It's making it feel colder. Wind to cold is like humidity to heat. Makes it just emphasize a little more, right? We're having wind out of the north, 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting even higher, closer to 30 along the coast. So the feels like temperatures are in the 20s. We've had that cold weather advisory in effect all through the overnight hours that will officially expire at 9. And this is the reason for that. Feels like temperatures in the 20s to low 30s, feeling more like 32 in the city of Tampa, 28 in Clearwater and in Brooksville. Now with the wind and how dry the air is, I know you've seen your grass, probably your yard looking a little bit crunchy. Yeah, we haven't gotten a whole lot of rain. And then you have the low humidity and the wind that does create high fire danger conditions. So we do have a red flag warning until 4 o'clock for areas south of I-4. That includes Manatee, Sarasota, Hardee, and Highlands County. So any kind of outdoor burning is discouraged for the day today because even just a small spark can spread a fire. So don't do any kind of outdoor burning today. Wouldn't be surprised to see more of those as we go through the week. Now, of course, today is Veterans Day. We have lots of wonderful events to just show our appreciation to the veterans in our community here. Here's a look at the forecast over the next several hours. At 9 o'clock, we're in the low 40s, upper 40s at 11, mid 50s at 1. So dress in layers today. While you'll need the coat this morning, you'll more so just need maybe a thicker jacket or a sweater later today. Forecast high temperatures topping out near 60 across the Bay Area, 50s for a lot of our inland communities. But it is going to feel more like the low to mid 50s because we will hold on to a breeze through the day today. One more pretty cold morning on the way. Tomorrow we'll wake up in the 30s north of town, low to mid 40s across the Bay Area, low 40s south of town, upper 30s to low 40s inland, places like Polk and Highlands and Hardee County tomorrow morning. So have the coat tomorrow morning as well. But thankfully the breeze won't be quite as blustery tomorrow. And then our overnight lows will gradually warm up through the week. However, I do think you'll still need at least a jacket each morning this week. Low temperatures Thursday closer to 50, and then we'll bump back into the 50s late week. Low 60s for overnight lows going into next week. So a gradual warming trend, not only for our overnight lows, but also for our afternoon highs. Here's a look at that marine forecast. The waves fierce again on Clearwater Beach. We have rough waters on the bay. That small craft advisory, high surf and rip risk today. The marine forecast will get better back half of the week, but seas 7 to 10 feet this morning. That will go down through the day, but definitely discourage being out on the water, especially with that high rip risk and the high wave heights. 7-day shows that weather impact for the cold this morning, and then mornings will stay chilly, back in the 50s though by Thursday. Afternoon highs will gradually get warmer day by day, upper 70s on the way by Friday, low 80s return through the weekend. Looks like we might have a low end rain chance return next Monday.
I know we need the rain as well. Good morning. A nice, wonderful start to the day. A little brisk as we've been telling you about this morning. Chilly temperatures here for our Tampa Bay area. If you're going to be driving in and around the airport this morning, things are looking okay. Really not that bad of a start, but a reminder to check with your airline as we've been tracking those delays and cancellations. At last check, at least 22 flights delayed and canceled and 11 flights delayed, but I'm sure that number is changing by now. So just check with your airline. I-75 southbound, there's a crash crash here for our drivers as you're going to be headed through this portion of Hillsborough County, not far from Brandon near US 301. Good morning. And then if you're going to be headed along Gandy Boulevard, we've got this crash here investigation underway. Several cars involved in this here not far from Sunset Boulevard. 275 also has some slow moving speeds, and you will see an impact on our bridges as well. We were seeing the Pinellas side of Gandy Bridge is slow moving right now. If you're going to be headed along I-75 southbound, we're seeing some stop and go traffic as well as a couple of crashes. One now clearing not far from Fruitville Road, and a separate one on the opposite side of Fruitville Road that we're following off of I-75 as well.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Time now.
Today, a record cold Veterans Day for the Tampa Bay area this morning. Courtney's husband served as well, so a big thank you to him this morning too.
Yeah, served for several years in the Air Force, many deployments, all the things. So we know, and I know personally, of the sacrifice it takes. So we can't thank you guys enough, all of our veterans at home. All right, let's talk about our current temperatures. Whoo, is that cold taking over the lower 48? Look at this. Not many times do you see this. Key West is at 58 degrees. We're at 40 degrees in Tampa. I guess this is kind of covering it, but that's okay. I can tell you. 40 degrees in Tampa. We're colder than Denver, Colorado right now. Can you believe that? Denver's at 56 degrees. We are colder than that. Man, oh man, what an abnormally cold start, record cold start. That's the reason for our weather impact alert. Not only the coldest air of the season, but record cold. Tampa officially fell to 39 degrees this morning, breaking the record of 40 for this day, set all the way back in 1892. That's over a 100-year record that was broken, and a handful of spots woke up to record cold. Now that the sun's been up for a little while, we are starting to have temperatures go in the other direction, a little bit warmer, but still coat-worthy out there. 38 in Odessa, 38 in Dunedin, 40 in Seminole, 38 in Trinity, 36 right now, Port Richey, 37 in Thanodasassa and in Lakeland, 38 in frostproof, mid-30s along the Nature Coast. Didn't quite get to freezing along the Nature Coast, but if you covered up your plants overnight, good for you. It's always good to do that out of an abundance of caution when we have this kind of cold coming in. And of course, you still got to be thinking about your pets. I know we were telling you that yesterday. You got to do the same tonight because we do have another pretty cold night ahead. We'll talk about that in just a second. Of course, not only is it cold but breezy. We're seeing gusts already across Hillsborough County over 20 miles per hour, and that is creating a wind chill. So look at the wind chill values. 20s along the Nature Coast, low 30s for Tampa and Clearwater, feeling like 36 in St. Pete and Sarasota, low 30s for our inland communities as well. You got to have the coat, the hat, the scarf this morning. All those will be a good idea, but dress in layers because it'll be chilly, not necessarily cold this afternoon. With the wind, though, and the really low humidity and just how dry we've been, we do have high fire danger, a red flag warning until 4 o'clock. So outdoor burning is discouraged, especially for areas south of I-4, Bradenton, Sarasota, Sebring, Lake Placid. If you live in Hardy County, you as well. I know it's really tempting to get the fire pits out, but we just don't recommend that. Don't burn any of your yard debris because fire could spread very quickly in the conditions we have today. Feels like temperatures through the next several hours. Through your lunch hour, it's going to struggle to feel warmer than the 40s. So you definitely need the thicker layers through the lunch hour today. And then this afternoon, heat of the day, it's going to feel more like the low to mid 50s. So maybe a sweater or a hoodie, a little bit more appropriate for the afternoon. And then going into tomorrow morning, the wind is going to die down through the day today and even more so tomorrow morning. But the air is going to be so dry and cold, even just a light wind will make a difference. It'll feel more like the low 30s along the Nature Coast, low 40s in the Tampa area, a lot of 30s inland as well. So as you're going back to work in school, for those of you who had the day off today, just make sure you're bundling up tomorrow morning as well. And then finally, tomorrow afternoon, we'll go back into the mid to upper 60s to near 70s. So temperatures for the first time in over 48 hours will go back into the mid 60s tomorrow. Warming trend continues through the week. Our average high this time of year around 80. We're going to stay below that through the back half of the work week. Saturday, we'll finally get close to near average temperatures, and we'll just continue that warming trend into the back half of the weekend and into next week. Marine forecast, look at Clearwater Beach. Still looking pretty rough out there. Seas 7 to 10 feet for the first half of the day. That'll gradually die down through the day, but small craft advisory, high surf and rip risk. Definitely don't recommend being in the water today. Our forecast over the next 7 days will show you chilly mornings, 40s tomorrow morning, back in the 50s by Thursday morning, with high temperatures returning to the 80s this upcoming weekend. Next rain chance, very low end 10% chance right now next Monday. All right, now it's time to get a check of the roadways with Sarah Rosario.
All right, good morning, and thank you so much, Courtney. Thank you for joining us here on 10 Tampa Bay Plus as we give you an update on all things you need to know to get ready for this Veterans Day. You know it's cold outside. Let's get a look at the traffic. Time right now, 8:21. Here's what it's looking like along I-75. Traffic is actually really light. A lot of people have the day off, so it's been a really nice start to our morning ride so far. Haven't seen many crashes. Where we are seeing some delays include areas of I-4. If you're going to be approaching I-275, we do have a little bit of volume, some stop and go traffic there. That will be continuing at least until we get to the 9 a.m. time frame. And then we have an earlier crash here along 275 as you continue to head southbound, south of Hillsborough Avenue. Not far from Cherokee, you're going to see a crash investigation underway right now, and that's what we're dealing with as some volume is building there. Also seeing north and southbound delays along I-275 for drivers through Pinellas County. Good morning to you. Some congestion for you all as well. And as you're going to be headed through our Bay Area bridges, the bridge where we're seeing the biggest delays include Gandy Bridge right now. If you're on the Pinellas side, headed from Tampa to Pinellas, you're going to see some stop and go traffic here. So give yourself just a little bit of extra time.